Hello, everybody. Dark Strider here, and welcome to episode 3, technically, of the podcast, but pilot for the official what we're actually going to do with it. As always, I am being joined by Jalen,
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Perry.
Sorry, I've got a whale in the background.
Yeah, that was Perry, all right. And Lenny.
Good evening.
All right. So, yeah, welcome to the first non-big event episode of the podcast.
But that doesn't mean there isn't big news.
No, there's definitely some big news, good and bad. But yeah, there's definitely news. We got San Diego Comic-Con here. But before we get into any of that, let's go ahead and let's give a proper introduction to ourselves. I guess I'll go first, which is I'll keep mine short because you're watching this on my channel, so you already know me. My name's Adolfo, Dark Strider. Do Let's Plays on YouTube. We do first to fives here, which is fighting games. Why God Wise, bad games, all that stuff that either you've watched or you haven't watched. If you haven't watched, go watch First to Fire. Everybody seems to like that for some reason. Also, Jalen, go ahead.
Yo, I'm Jalen. You can find me at Dogongo on YouTube, but I'm actually the second of the third-person crew at Zero Frame Gaming. I help out Adolfo. I give sarcastic remarks. Typical second man things.
Don't lower yourself. Don't lower yourself like that, Jalen. You're the Zoro to my Luffy, and I appreciate you. All right, Barry, go ahead.
Alright, well, I'm Perry, the One-Armed Legend. You can find me at the same title of Perry, the One-Armed Legend on YouTube. I mostly do video game reviews, trying to look and analyze video games from a one-armed person's perspective. I also do anime reviews. I'm considering doing Let's Plays more often. I've got a couple of projects underway about that. I also do general videos on like general nerd stuff or anything that catches my attention. So I guess you could say I do just random nerdiness overall. So I don't have a consistent thing that I do, but if I had to pin it down, it would be video games and anime mostly.
All right, Lenny.
Well, as far as my channel goes, I haven't exactly found my niche, but if I had to list it, it would just be a channel about, I'd say just about movies I want to talk about, sometimes good, sometimes bad. I've done a few things occasionally, when given permission, I'll upload footage of games that I have access to cite. The one that's on my channel is I was originally in the alpha for a game called Hatman, so I put up some footage from that. But that I haven't really done much in terms of Let's Plays. They've been like one-offs or like it planned to start the series, but then the rest of the footage got corrupt. I'm rambling. If anything in the future, my channel's gonna be ranting about movies that I hate / love. So.
Huh, interesting.
Well, the internet loves rants.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, you're the reason why we have the movie segment, Lenny.
Hooray!
Well, anyway, when we're not talking about big events like E3, we're basically gonna have 3 categories in the podcast. We're gonna have gaming, movies, and anime. And I'm sure we can each find something to talk about in either one of those parts, because we all seem to enjoy the 3.
I'd say that's a fair guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreeable.
All right, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some gaming topics. I guess the first one, let's talk about the big game that's come out recently, Batman Arkham Knight. Before we go into anything, where are you guys? If you played it all.
I've beaten it 100%.
Alright.
Sorry.
I have also beaten it, but not 100%, but I've beaten it.
I just beat it like 20 minutes ago.
Alright.
I have not played it at all. I still haven't even picked it up yet.
Alright, since it's a fairly new game and like not everybody here in the group has played, let's just give general first impressions and like let's compare it to different entries in the Batman games. Alright.
Okay.
I'll let Lenny go first since he's the 100% man of the crew today.
Alright, well, this isn't really much of a spoil, but I should clarify. I wasn't intending to 100% this game when I bought it, but later it's revealed in the game that you don't get to see the complete ending of the game unless you 100% it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know the full story of Arkham Knight unless you beat every side mission, collect every Riddler trophy, everything. And I'm a sucker for fucking plot continuity and shit, so I had to 100% it to do it. So
Now, I have
general
a quick question, Lenny.
Oh yeah, what's up?
With regards to beating every side mission and every Riddler trophy, is it a case of where can you do everything like at all the side missions or Riddler trophies at any time, or is it one where you can only beat certain Riddler trophies or certain side missions at a certain point in the game? Otherwise, if you progress any further, then they're going to be cut off from you.
What I'll say is that some of them are cut off from you from the beginning, but none of them are cut off from you at the end. As
Okay.
in, once you beat the game and all the games have had like a free roam thing that you can do. Like once you beat it, you can kind of explore the city freely, or the asylum, or wherever the fuck you are in each game. And in this case, all of the side missions slash trophies and riddles and everything else, they are all available to you even after you beat the game. But and the reason I say is because some of the riddles slash trophies or side quests are only available after you beat certain bosses, because it's like if you're too busy facing just, I don't know, fucking Two-Face and he's got a Tommy gun at you, you can't exactly be hopscotching around, looking for riddles and trophies. So it's stuff like that. Not all trophies are going to be available to you because you're too busy fighting a boss or doing a mission, and some areas are close to you because, well, you haven't gotten to that part of the plot line yet. So,
Okay.
But hence why you're still able to complete all of them without going into New Game Plus once you beat the game.
Got it.
Yeah. Also, there's this nifty new mission wheel that you get. Like, you can choose the side missions, you can choose to do the main story and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, the mission wheel is actually really good because aside from like one or two exceptions, about 90% of them are all designated to their own supervillain.
Yeah.
And each one of those like quest wheels is like, when you're done with it, you typically are rewarded with like a different supervillain depending on what the mission classes were, being defeated.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's like a Two-Face bank ones, and so you have all the Two-Face bank schemes, and once you do it, then it'll like basically say at the end of it when you're all done, like, oh, Two-Face is in jail. So that's it's a really good way to look at it instead of like a linear mission list with a bunch of them scattered. Having them all put in a way that actually, I'd say, helps you figure out your progress in a way that's like visually meaningful is a pretty nice touch from it. And and this is minor without again going into too much of it, but in this game there's something called the GCPD lockup. And I think it's actually a really cool addition to it because the more that you beat up thugs and minions and do missions and whatnot, the more the holding cells start to fill with the thugs that you beat up, and they're actually like segmented into different segments based on like what faction they are. So the Two-Face thugs and like the Riddler thugs and the Penguin thugs all have their own individual cells based on like who they were following or who they were fighting for. So like if you just beat up a bunch of Penguins, goons, then only they will be in there, and it won't just be a bunch of faceless ones. Like the guys you literally just beat up will actually be in the cells. It'll make it feel a lot more meaningful because it's like a direct results of your actions.
For a split second there, I thought you said you beat up a bunch of penguins. No, I'm just serious. It's like, well, Batman beating up a penguin. First he's hopscotching everywhere, and now he's beating up penguins. What's he on acid?
Oh my god. All right. So overall impressions.
All right, sorry for rambling for a while.
Nah, it's fine.
I really like it. I know that a lot of people are kind of divided with the Batmobile and Bat Tank thing, but I honestly think it's really fun if you can overlook some of the whole guys, he's really non-lethal, bit of the game. Because if you hit someone with a Batmobile, it shocks them. And it's like, oh, you didn't run them over, you just tased them. They're fine. So
I'm gonna tase this person at 100 miles an hour.
yeah. So aside from it getting exponentially more ridiculous as the game goes on, in terms of Batman's ability to be non-lethal, I had a great time with it. So I'd recommend it highly.
All right, Jalen.
Okay, so Batman Arkham Knight. This game, I'm just gonna say, it holds up to the standard that we have for all the other Arkham games. The combat's still really smooth. There's a lot more to work with. Just to give something to entice people. One of the new gadgets is a voice synthesizer. So you have the voice of all like the supervillains and stuff, and you can order their goons around to go to certain places that are advantageous to you.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. It's really cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
yeah.
too.
And sorry, I don't mean to interject, but like to start off, you have to actually do like a decoding segment where you listen to something that they said to you, and then you have to like fiddle around on the thumbsticks in order to replicate the voice in your gadgetry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a
And
neat.
yeah, you got to do that. There's a lot of cool puzzles in this game. Of course, there's the Riddler stuff.
Wait, did you say puddles or puzzles?
Puzzles.
Okay. 'Cause
Why
for a
not
second
both?
It thought it was puddles.
Why not both? There's some sweet rain effects in this game.
Yeah, it's raining just about all the time. Sometimes. Um, a lot of supervillains. Some of them you run across randomly. I thought I was not gonna like the Batmobile, but I really do enjoy it. One thing I did though, in the options, there is a selection to change it so that instead of just holding down the button to turn into the Bat Tank, you can just tap it, and then you'll just be in that mode forever until you tap it again.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it made it easier for me.
Huh. What was that, Lenny?
Like I said, it makes it either a hold switch or a toggle switch.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I will admit, like since I started off the game using like the hold kind of configuration, it was something that I stuck with even after someone told me that I could switch the controls around to something that technically is more efficient. Because even though it works a lot better, I kept accidentally like breaking, and just like ramming into walls when I wanted to go into tank mode, and vice versa with a bunch of other stuff. But it is a very much more efficient way to do it as opposed to like holding down the trigger the whole time, especially because those bat tank segments can last up to 5 to 10 minutes if there's like a lot of them. So
Yeah.
How does the Batmobile feel when driving around in it?
It feels great to me.
Yeah.
Both versions of it, Bat Tank and Batmobile mode. They did a good job making it feel not sluggish, but not at the same time like super fast. Like my only problem with it is that if like you hit something, it'll just go everywhere. Sometimes at like high speeds, and there are certain chase segments where like if you were not perfectly in line with like a small tunnel or so, and you hit the side, it might screw you over.
yeah, the game is slightly inconsistent in terms of what's destructible because sometimes you can take out an entire like highway overpass, but other times a small chain link fence won't be able to budge under the mighty heft of the Batmobile.
Yeah. It'll just
That's a tough ass.
you'll just hit it at 100 miles per hour and you'll flip into outer space and bam, Gotham City is doomed. Well, yeah. Is that everything you had to say, Jalen?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
All right.
Recommend it to everybody.
All right. Well, I'll say this. I really liked Arkham Knight, but like, let me just say it this way. I felt like the game eased into like the good parts, which was kind of a different approach for where Arkham City just fucking knocks your socks off in like the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the game started out slow for me. I don't know if it did for you guys, but like it got to the point where I was like, "Yeah, this game is amazing."
I'll say like without going into spoiler territory, the moment that the game like officially hit me in terms of oh yeah, I'm gonna love this game was probably about an hour in.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. About the Batmobile, I like it, but I felt like the beginning could have been a little less Batmobile heavy, and I would have been fine with that, But that's just me. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a great way to end their trilogy because Arkham Origins existed, but they do acknowledge it every now and then. But I guess the fans don't.
Even though Arkham Origins is not that bad.
It's not that bad, but it
It was
has,
like just slightly enough that the fans dislike to where it's like a thing that they want to disregard.
Yeah.
I
And
think it's more WB Montreal and like what they were like priding over with the DLC instead of not fixing glitches and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that left a bad taste in people's mouths.
oh, so it's a matter of principle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Like, maybe after you tell me, like, maybe after you like finish your segments, we can maybe see if there's anything we want to say about the PC port, if that's worth mentioning.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
What
Sure,
PC
now.
port?
Exactly.
Bro, you're talking about fairy tales. There's no PC port here. But go ahead and talk about this make-believe PC port if you want to.
Long ago in a distant land, I, WB, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable port.
Okay.
That sent
Brilliant.
all the PC fans into a bitch fit.
It's I've seen some stuff from the PC port. It rains all the time, and Batman doesn't actually have any rain textures on him. But the PS4 and Xbox One versions do. And like we're talking about high-end rigs. Even if you have like, let's just say you have an incredibly high-end rig, but it happens to have like an AMD card.
Like Witcher 3 on ultra settings.
Yeah, we're talking about no matter how hardcore it is, you got AMD, you're fucked. Because because Nvidia GameWorks, oh boy.
Thanks, Nvidia.
Like, if it was just a bunch of graphical stuff, that would be one thing. But apparently, there's a lot of stuff in regards to the game just crashing or some like quest/side quest just not being available or spawning. And just to give a citation, from what I saw, Angry Joe did like a 2-hour live stream of it, and he had 4 hard crashes in that time, which actually made him lose progress on the missions that he was on.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I can hear us yelling from here.
Oh, God. So I guess we can all say that Rocksteady found out that day that writing PC on a PS4 disc is not a port.
For sure.
But yeah. Go ahead.
No,
Like-
I didn't think I have anything else to say.
I think this goes back to the whole principle thing, because it's like, technically the only version that has like a notable amount of problems is the PC version, so it's like, on that effort, people are probably going to still look at this as better than Origins from that level of principles, but this is still really rough. The fucking reviews on Steam were at 14%.
Yeah.
But they took it off, and I don't blame them. I mean, on a gameplay perspective, it's the same game as the one we got here on consoles, and by that logic, it's still a really good game. But if they can't play it, and if it doesn't function the way as advertised, then I don't understand how they could, mess up this badly. When, as far as I have seen, they use the same team or the same company to port the PC game as they did for Origins.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why. Why would you go back to them after everyone told you not to? Because it's like, if you did it for Origins, it's like, okay, a lot of people see Origins as like a middleman cash cow. We gotta wait till night is finished. Let's just have these guys develop some side game, or something in the meantime, and just use some cheap company to do it. Just save some money, whatever. But now this is it's the end of the trilogy. It's your baby. It's the one of the few games people actually know you for, aside from Mortal Kombat right now. So WB should have prioritized the hell out of this instead of having a 8-person team port the biggest PC game so far this year, aside from The Witcher and I don't know, whatever else is big this year right now. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I gotta give it to them, man. I've never heard of canceling a PC port after it released.
Yeah.
they even took out physical copies.
They did. They completely recalled them.
Because I went to GameStop. I'm like, hey, how about some of those physical copies to play until the Steam one's out? They're like, I'm sorry, we're not authorized to show you those.
Wow.
It's like they're,
oh.
yeah, it's like they're ashamed of it. Well, I mean, they should be, but So they completely wiped the PC port from existence, and that's just funny to me.
Until it gets fixed.
I'm surprised that they the only thing they stopped short of was breaking into people's houses and stealing their hard drives if they had Arkham Knight installed onto it, just to make sure.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, they went to great lengths to cover that up. But still, overall, non-PC version, Arkham Knight's a great game. Like, good story. I think it's a good ending, more or less. But yeah, just great. I recommend it to all of you. Now, Perry, you haven't played it, of course, but like, let's talk about your expectations and stuff for when you do play it. Like,
Okay, for one thing, I know pretty much everyone I know in my social circle, including you guys, has been telling me almost every other day, is like, you picked up Arkham Knight yet? You picked it up yet? So, on some level, I will admit I'm getting a little annoyed. It's like, no, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play Batman Arkham Knight, because if I don't, my friend Morgan will kill me. But aside from that, I'm pretty sure, I'm fairly confident that Rocksteady is going to be something very satisfying. I'm not going to go in with expecting, like, it's going to be the greatest thing ever, because I will admit, I loved Asylum. And I even loved I loved Arkham City more than that. But I'm not going to be expecting, like, the second coming of Batman or something like that with Arkham Knight. I'm usually the type of guy, now this is just speaking personally, usually if a trilogy ends well, if I find the end to be satisfying and closure really good, I will usually like the ending of a trilogy more than the preceding chapters. But that's just me. Like, say, I like Return of the Jedi more than Empire Strikes Back or A New Hope. I like Return of the King more than Two Towers Fellowship. The reason why is because I like closure. I like having loose ends tied up and everything neatly done and wrapped up. So, with Arkham Knight, if it is at least satisfying, I will say that it is probably my favorite one of the series. But this is just this is just a basic prediction. Now, it could be completely different from what I'm expecting. I have thankfully avoided almost every single spoiler in the entire game. So, on the internet, that's almost impossible to do.
It's commendable.
Yes,
So I try to go in with games now, try to keep myself as in the dark as possible. And so with something as on the big of scale of Arkham Knight, trying to avoid spoilers for that in this age is really hard. So I'm really excited to see Arkham Knight once I actually do finish it, but I cannot when I actually do get it, I will let you guys know and let you know my thoughts on it, but for now, it's one of those, the jury's still out on what I'm going to think of Arkham Knight or what I'm going to expect from it. So I'm going to try to go in with a blank slate.
All right.
That's pretty good, because there's two, like, massive spoilers that are very hard to avoid in regards to talking about it, so...
Yeah, so I think...
No, one of them has to do with the identity of the Arkham Knight himself, so...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I figured that was going to... I kind of assumed from the get-go, it's like, okay, if there's going to be one spoiler about this that I don't need to know about until I actually play it, is who the hell is the Arkham Knight? So,
well, let me put it this way. If you actually, if you're heavy into Batman, and you read comics and all that stuff, watch the animated movies and stuff like that, the moment the Arkham Knight speaks, you're going to be like, oh, that's who he is.
I'm not super heavy into it. I'm not...
Perry, I'm going to say this. I think, as far as I've heard, you're in my, level of expertise when it comes to Batman is, pretty comparable.
Uh-huh.
I could not figure it out until, at least some hints way later in the game. So I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be, immediately...
Oh, really? Because, since the first conversation they had, I was like, it's him. And, later on, when it actually was, the person I said it was, I was like, I knew it.
So, I'm trying, like I said, I'm just trying to avoid as much spoilers as I can. I will play Arkham Knight, but I have my own little project that I'm trying to finish before Tuesday, and that way I'm just like, okay, I just got to get this out of the way, and then I will do Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
But I have another big series after that, so...
Yep. All right, so thank you for providing the segue into our next thing. Before we move on to some San Diego Comic-Con stuff and just regular announcements that have been made, let's talk about any current projects that we got going on, games we're playing, games we recommend that people play. Anything like that?
What about the other gaming topics?
Oh no, we'll get to those. Like I said before, we get into any of that stuff, let's go ahead and just talk about gaming for a bit. All right, Perry, any projects you got going on? Games you want to recommend? Anything?
Well, I wouldn't say games I recommend at the moment, but right now my two big projects, one of which I'm working with Lenny on, and we're still baffled as hell about it. What the big project I'm doing now, just gaming wise, is I'm trying to marathon the entire God of War saga in chronological order, and trying to beat that many games in less than 2 weeks is not exactly easy.
No.
So right now I'm going through God of War 2. I beat a God of War 1 within 2 days. I beat a Chains of Olympus in 1 day. So I've been trying to plow through this as fast as I can. Ghost of Sparta, I've also beaten it probably in 2 days. So I'm very, very close to beating God of War 2 again. And it was the reason why I did this project in the first place was to kind of give myself a little bit of a retrospective and look back on the series and see how well it's aged over time, and as well as getting myself personally hyped for the God of War 3 remastering. So I will admit it's weird the fact that they're just remastering 3 and not bringing over the entire saga to PS4, because I figured if you could do the entire saga on PS3 with like 2 discs, you could probably do the saga on PS4 with just 1. So that's probably my biggest project right now. The other project I'm doing is my 80s curse is still going on, and Letty and I are kind of getting near the end of round 2, and apparently the curse is as strong as ever, if not stronger.
Oh
Yes.
God.
It can, like, even Lenny and I were talking this last night. I think last night we did Good Morning Vietnam, and then the night before that we did The Jerk. So I don't know if either one of you guys has seen that, but the reactions that both of us had for, like, just even Lenny and myself, the reactions we had were just, what would you say the best word for it is? Baffled?
I'd say baffling. It was contradictory because, for sake of reference of people who don't know both movies, one of Steve Martin's first roles where he pretends to be a poor black child. No joke, that's verbatim from the movie.
Oh boy.
Okay.
It's something that Perry was able to enjoy better than Robin Williams entertaining troops in Vietnam. And it was weird because it's like, it's not that he, as far, okay, and I'll feel free, I think I'm alright to quote Perry on this, but as far as I know, he doesn't hate Steve Martin, but he does love Robin Williams. So it's weird that a movie, like a comedy...
Hell, I've met Robin Williams.
Yeah, so it's weird to see a movie from like a comedian who he's not necessarily head over heels for manage to impress him or do better for him than a classic from somebody that he, really looks up to / likes in regards to comedy or acting. So
Interesting.
Though I
Yeah.
think the killer moment was when we found out what the date for The Jerk was.
The Jerk was released just 17 days shy of 1980.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And Good Morning Vietnam was released, I believe, in 84 or 87. It was one of those two.
It was 87. If it was
Yeah.
84, it might have actually had a chance. No, here's the reason why we're saying 84 specifically. Lenny, do you want to explain this?
The only movies that have even gotten like remotely close in terms of enjoyment of like breaking off from our apparently like 8 is a gate. None of the movies in the 80s have gotten more than an 8 in terms of personal enjoyment from Perry. And the only ones that came even remotely close were ones that were released in 1984.
Well,
Specifically Terminator 1 and Dune.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't even know why.
Well,
I mean, granted, I like other movies there are some other movies in the 80s that I like outside of 1984, like Princess Bride, Back to the Futures 1 and 2, and that kind of stuff. But 1984, for some specific reason, has been able to find 2 movies within that same year that I like. One being Terminator 1 and the other being Dune. But even when Lenny and I were discussing Dune, I will admit that I was very divided on Dune, because even though I personally enjoyed it, I can only say on some level it is a guilty pleasure, because I recognize that there's a lot about the movie that doesn't work. But there are some moments in the movie that are just like, you know what, I think this is actually kind of awesome. And to be perfectly honest, I would be totally okay with this being remade. Like,
Huh.
I feel like there's a lot that could be remade with Dune, and it seems like it has a really cool sci-fi universe that's ripe with potential. So, but that's the funny thing is that the only movie that has been able to get close is something that I can only say is a guilty pleasure.
Huh. All right.
And of note is that we were thinking of the idea of a remake for it, and we had I don't know, a fan fantasy moment where we're like, what if George Miller decided to do the reboot or remake of it?
Oh.
I
Okay.
am so goddamn happy.
Oh man. All right. Well, Lenny.
And for those of you who don't know who George Miller is, he was the one who did Mad Max series, and specifically Fury Road.
Yeah. All
Just
right.
anyone who doesn't
Yeah,
know.
Fury Road is the main reason why we'd say he'd be good for it, just considering that he can still do relatively good, like, in his own series, even though it's been, like, I think 20 plus years since he last touched it.
Uh-huh.
30 years.
Yeah, 30 years even. So the fact that he can still be really good on that with the series that he's, for the most part, been relatively out of touch with, and deliver on it really fucking hard with, like, probably, if it wasn't for Kingsman being out, I'd probably be, like, the genuine, like, uncontested action movie of the year.
Yeah. All right. Didn't he also do Sin City? Frank Miller.
That's,
That's Frank Miller
Frank
was
Miller.
no Frank Miller was the
Frank
comic
Miller.
artist. Zack Snyder did the movie, wasn't it? Or no, I think that was Robert Rodriguez.
Really?
And I think Frank Miller is different than George Miller, because it's George Miller who did the Mad Max ones. And Frank Miller's the guy who I think did the graphic novels for Sin City.
Yeah, he also did 300.
Oh, all right.
And Robert Rodriguez did the Sin City film.
All right. I'm just getting those confused for some reason.
Probably no relation on it. Probably.
Probably. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. Lenny, any projects you got going on right now?
Let's see. I don't have any projects for my channel currently in the works outside of me continuing to watch movies or research movies that I either like or hate. But since we're just in the, I don't know, I guess the gaming segment, I will say that my current muse is Rocket League. I've been playing it very much for the past couple of days and just looking into it a bunch, playing all of it, recommending it to my friends, and spreading the word. And it is a very excellent game. I will say this: it's possible I'm biased because I played the original game a lot. I was in the alpha and the beta for this game, and the game is free on PlayStation Plus. So the fact that I've been playing it since 2009 and I didn't even have to pay for it in any of its current incarnations may color my opinions a bit. But
what is Rocket League?
What?
What is Rocket League?
Okay, Rocket League is the spiritual successor to a game called Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars, which was a game on the PS3. And basically, it's where you play as soccer as RC cars that have like rockets on the back of them, and they're able to ride on the walls and do backflips and fly in the sky and stuff like that. And you can even destroy your opponent's cars if you go fast enough.
That sounds really fun, actually.
Yeah, very fun. And in fact, it's very popular right now on Twitch. I believe a few days ago at launch, it had 70,000 players playing at one time, and it was also the second highest streamed thing on Twitch at that moment. Yeah, so there's a lot of people playing it, a lot of very, very healthy community. You know, I mean, granted, the fact that it was on PlayStation Plus helps, but it was very, very... It's very fun to watch, too. I mean, they actually confirmed that it's going to be one of the esports played at stuff later this year. So
Sweet.
It's got that. It's got a lot of really good customizable stuff. It's very, very entertaining to play with friends because, like, it's hard to describe, but it's cathartic. Because every time you get a goal, it's not just like, oh, boy, you got a goal. The ball explodes, and everyone goes flying.
Yeah.
Goal.
And you're just like, yeah!
Yeah, so you just like dive bomb headfirst into the goal, and it's like you said, you're just like, oh yeah, boom! Everyone goes flying. So it's not like, hey guys, I made a goal. It's like, no, everyone knows when a goal is made, and it's amazing. Even if it's like you being scored on, it's really entertaining to see just how these people pull this stuff off. You know, because you can even fly in this game. Like if you tilt your car upwards and use your rockets with enough fuel, you can actually propel your car into the air and do like aerial flying maneuvers to hit the ball midair, like the equivalent of someone jumping in the air and like kicking the ball with the tip of their foot in like a real soccer game. So it's madness and it's great. And said if you got PS Plus and a PS4, it's free for the rest of the month, and it's got a very healthy community right now. It's just a blast, and it for those who need it, it's got 4-player local co-op split screen, so it's supportive for couch co-op stuff too. It's got a full season mode and everything else, and I will end my infomercial for the game by talking about.
Oh wait, there's more.
So, aside from that, the only other thing is just me doing 2 things. I recently watched 2 movies, one which I think is really interesting, and one which I think is an abomination. And that is...
But for most likely very personal reasons.
Yes. So, when I say that it's an abomination, mind you, I can get very petty about movies.
Alright, let's go ahead and save that for the movie segment,
I have
though.
the meme for that now.
Alright, so I'll just be of note that I have watched 2 movies that I'm very passionate about in opposite directions.
Oh boy. Alright. Dalen, you got any projects going on?
Nothing on the projects wise. I haven't really been inspired to do something special. Well, really, that's not true. I need to get inspiration to write the story I told you.
Oh my god. That is hands down the wackiest fan fiction of me that I've ever heard. But believe me, I've heard like 3 in my life. So just to say, that's like the wackiest one.
Wait,
you
guys
made
have
this
fan
life
fiction?
and you have your own fan fiction.
No, like Jalen just apparently sits in his room and thinks of stupid stories.
Well, it's a running gag on the channel. Whenever we take a long break from recording and we come back, I always say something ridiculous happened during the break that kept us from recording. This is just an expanded idea off of that.
So Jalen just made this really dumb story. Like it has to do with this group that apparently came up and like it's called the Church of Chie for Persona 4.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wonder who's attending that service. Someone I think 3 of us know.
That would be me. I'm a big Chie guy because Chie is best.
I was thinking of someone less favorable, but yes.
Yes, Chie is best girl.
I'm more of a Naruto fan, but that's just me. But Chie is also good.
Hey, it's just me. I like kung fu movies, and chicks who like kung fu movies are cool in my book.
Plus, she does wear spats pretty well.
All right, moving on before this gets into a waifu war.
Oh god.
Teddy is
I think we already had that at some point.
No, we did when we talked about Fire Emblem, but that now is not the point. That's not the point nor the time. All right. I just got my playthroughs going on. I have a series in development that I don't quite know where I want to go with yet. It's basically like I've told you about it, Perry.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Kind of like the retrospective thing.
Yeah, it's like basically games and our personal history with games, like a little documentary style video, like episode for each, like with guests and all that. I don't know. I need to see where I'm gonna go with it. Like write a script, maybe make a pilot, see how it's received, stuff like that. Me and Jalen and Ricky need to get off our asses and deliver a first to 5 one day.
That's true.
And besides from that, that's pretty much it. We gotta finish Bloodborne and Batman and Pirate Warriors someday.
Oh, speaking of Bloodborne, I actually did find out with Comic-Con that there's going to be a Bloodborne statue.
yes.
Is it a hunter?
Yes, it is.
Is he in the Yarnum Hunter outfit?
I think so.
Hold on.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Hold on, hear this. Do you hear that?
What's that, your wallet?
I threw my wallet at my TV.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
sorry. I
I can
thought
se-
that was shitting bricks.
I can send you a picture of it after the podcast when we're done.
I hope I didn't break my TV or anything. Alright.
I think it'll live.
Yeah, but yeah, that's great news actually.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much about us, right? Like, what we got going on right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so back to the gaming stuff. A lot of stuff has been announced this week, actually, with like San Diego
Fuck ton of stuff actually.
Yeah, with like San Diego Comic-Con going on and all that stuff, and just regular announcements from people.
Yeah, and Anime Expo wasn't too long ago.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead and go. What's next on the list? Anybody here a big Street Fighter fan besides me and Jalen?
I enjoy Street Fighter.
I was a big fan of 3. Like I never played it when it came out, but then I was gifted a copy of Third Strike Online HD Supreme Edition. And I really got into that one.
I also enjoy Third Strike.
I wasn't really a big fan of 4, but that's because I was ignorant at the time that I first played it. I wasn't thinking that it was stylized. I'm like, these graphics are bad. Mortal Kombat's graphics are way better. I'll play that. And lo and behold, I got learned.
You got.
You got learned. Apparently, Lenny also forgot English.
I eventually went back and I played it. And I'm like, you know what? It's not that bad. I know it's stylized. I mean, I still think the graphics could have been a bit better, but it's got some charm to it, you know. So I definitely appreciate it. But I still love Street Fighter 3 the most of all the ones I've played, and so I'm eager to see what they do. It, to be honest, I wish they would have Oro as a playable character in Street Fighter 5, and maybe he will be. But fingers crossed in the least hopeful of ways.
Well, actually, they revealed a new stage, and they said that they were going to have characters related to that new stage. The new stage was Brazil.
Yes.
So, and they said we're going to get 2 characters from Brazil. And, Oro's from Brazil.
Oh God, that's gonna be great. I swear, if they make 2 new characters from Brazil that have nothing to do with Oro, that's gonna piss me off.
What people are saying...
Isn't Blanca from Brazil?
Yeah, what people are saying... What people are saying right now is it's going to be Sean and Blanca, but there's hope for Oro.
Hooray.
But yeah, but basically, what happened this week is they announced Ken for Street Fighter 5 at Comic-Con.
Well, I think we all kind of assumed that Ken would show up.
Oh yeah, he's the jelly to the peanut butter and the sandwich that is Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Oh man, did you hear the next Mario game is gonna have Luigi in it?
Oh man.
But the cool thing is, they changed them up a little bit, and they changed them a lot in looks. I was talking about gameplay. They changed them up a bit in gameplay.
Okay, I was about to say, change good in looks. I might contest you on that.
All right, let's talk about gameplay first, then we'll get into looks. Okay, so it looks like they gave him a command run.
Yeah.
And also they gave him flaming kicks now, which looks pretty cool because he can command run into flame kicks into shoryukens, which is actually pretty cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and his V skill, which everybody has like their own certain little skill, looks like it's the focus attack dash cancel from Street Fighter 4. It looks like it has the same properties.
Just about.
Yeah. But alright, that's pretty much what it is on changes.
I'm sorry, all that fighting lingo just went way over my head.
Okay, you press a button, you do a focus, and then you move from it. There you go.
Okay, sorry. I'm an idiot when it comes to like fighting terminology.
Alright, that's pretty much different. And his super art is awesome.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I don't even know what to call it.
He basically kicks you, and then he kicks you up into the air and ends it with a big kick to the big flaming kick to the face.
Mm-hmm.
I think you might need to see a doctor about that.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about his look. Holy shit, they put bananas on his head.
I like it. I don't know, you guys are crazy. I like it.
What
It's
the
a compromise between that short hair and the long hair.
The fuck they do to his face?
I don't
Maybe
know.
they're trying to make him maybe they're trying to separate the gap between him and Ryu more so to say, guys, he's definitely not a Ryu clone anymore. Promise.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah, the thing is, his hair is long, and the only notable difference is he put his gi around his waist instead of wearing it like a proper guy.
Yeah.
Okay, that I don't have a problem with. My biggest problem is his fucking hair. I'm sorry.
It looks like clay.
I remember saying this to you, Adolfo, but I think this pretty much sums up my exact thoughts on what his hair and what his overall look looked like. I said and I'm quoting myself here. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but I said, quote, "It looks like he forgot to go to the barber for a few months, got lazy, and binged a fuck ton of JoJo, but he missed the entire point of the style." End quote.
But yeah,
I don't know. If he something about that way his hair looks, just like that just looks a little too stupid.
Oh,
I mean, I'm willing to let it pass me by because I do like playing as Ken. Like, I prefer Ken playing as Ken over Ryu. That's just me.
Yeah.
But it's just looking at that, it makes me wonder why. I don't quite understand it. This is just me being extremely petty. It's really one of the few times when I do get extremely petty over this stuff, but I'm willing to let this look slide if he does play well, which I'm sure he will.
yeah,
So,
he looks really super rushed down, which is
Yeah.
how I've always wanted Ken to be, honestly.
Honestly, this Ken is like always how I wanted him to be. More flame and kick oriented, and more rushdown focused. So he's perfect in my eyes.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
in terms of,
go
I'm
ahead.
just saying, in terms of gameplay, he looks like he's good. Because I've always heard the idea that Ken is just a Ryu clone, which to some degree I can agree with, but it's just that hair. I'm willing to let it slide, though. I'm willing to let it slide.
Well, you won't have to really, because Capcom already said there's going to be classic costumes.
Yep.
Oh, well,
That's
never mind.
that's the cat contradiction of quickly slap a band-aid on that bitch.
Then tear it off once again.
But yeah,
You get a character design when you can just reuse the old one.
yeah. So
Exactly.
Capcom announced
Well,
classic
then again,
DLC.
Capcom and Mortal Kombat does the same thing with giving us classic costumes.
Yeah.
That's true. They just announced they also announced like I think either free classic costumes or free classic fatalities.
It's free classic fatalities, and you get
Yeah.
the classic costumes with the combat pack.
Mhm.
Sweet.
But yeah, so yeah, the look is gonna take a while to get like used to, but it's not bad. It's just they just need to touch up his face a bit more.
I'll agree with that. I'll consent to that.
Yeah. But with that, let's move on. Oh yeah, and a new character was teased.
That's
A
true.
completely new character from the looks of it. Apparently, they say he might be from New Zealand, which is a stage that they're gonna add.
Please, for the love of God, just for shits and giggles, make it a Hobbit.
Ah, dude, like he looks tribal. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I have no idea what this character could be.
So, do you guys you're the Street Fighter experts, as far as I know? Is there any character previously from the series that is from that region of the world?
No.
Really? So this is potentially an entirely new character.
Yeah. They say we were gonna have at least 4 completely new characters,
Okay.
if I remember correctly.
Makes me curious what fighting style they're gonna give this character.
Yeah, it looks funny because he has dreads, and like if you follow the fighting community like I do, the funniest suggestion I've heard was Shin DJ.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
It's DJ, the guy that has Maximum written on his pants.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea who that is.
He's a Street Fighter 2 character that's based on Billy Blanks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like, they say he's like the final version because like every big boss has like the Shin version in Street Fighter. Like that, that's Shin DJ. I don't know. I just found that hilarious.
Oh, that's silly.
But but that's it on Street Fighter 5 announcements right now. Let's move on to the next topic. Kojima Productions is being disbanded. Boo.
No.
Sad news.
All right, Perry, I'll let you go off on your thing since you seem the most eager.
Well, I'm not as mad as I was before. I mean, Lenny and I kind of discussed this idea a little bit a while ago. Just Kojima Productions and Konami just going down the crapper, and so I don't know. It just seems to me like I was even talking with Lenny a while ago, saying like just to remember Kojima Productions on some capacity to make sure it's like okay, let's not forget this thing. I wanted to have Kojima Productions logo embroidered on one of the sleeves of my jacket, just for fun. And so, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I have a very high fondness for just Kojima Productions and Kojima in general, just because it seems like he's one of the few guys that has like a genuine stamp on everything he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you know he's made something, you can tell immediately that it's his.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, the whole Kojima Productions, a Hideo Kojima game, he's one of the few guys that can actually have his name on a game and it not come off as egotistical.
Yeah.
And so I kind of respect that a little bit, and I want to at least reach that point at some point in my career if I ever get to there. So I do look up to Kojima a lot because I kind of see something, I don't know, a kindred spirit, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I approach the games a similar way that he might do it, but I can't be 100% certain of that. But just the fact that it's probably one of the, I don't know of another development group that has a last name of the guy who's basically in charge of a series having it as the official company name.
Yeah.
I mean, can you guys name a single one?
Of course, Mr. Joe Nintendo.
We'll get to Nintendo later.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything. But like on that topic, like I never saw Konami taking the bitchy 16-year-old girl route of you mess with me, I'll ruin your life kind of thing.
Yeah, it seems like Konami's just general. I think it's like a combination of a couple of things. One, their general lack of telling us what the fuck is going on. Their basic blatant disregard for almost everything that their fans have ever given a crap about over the last, 15 plus years.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're treating with arguably one of the most respected and beloved creators probably in the industry's history, Kojima, with such disrespect.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
With such disrespect that it just makes me want to go, is there anything else that you can do in this year to piss us off even more? At this point, you're almost at this like Konami's name alone. At this point, I'm probably gonna say this as a bold statement. They're probably about as despised as either EA or Activision at this point.
Just about.
Just
I'll say this: at the very least, Activision at least tries to release its games that people for the most part want to play. So
despite our personal grievances with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if we have personal grievances, at least they put the games out instead of crushing our dreams. Cough, Silent Hills.
Yeah.
So I will give at least Activision slack this year. At least, whether we like their games or not is up to personal preferences. I mean, that's basically what it roots down to. But I will give them credit. At least they haven't done anything this year to really piss us off.
Oh yeah.
And EA, as much as we don't like them, as much as they talk about sports, and all that other stuff, they at least have a couple of games coming out that we're at least intrigued by. Would you say so?
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but Konami, almost everything they've said this year has in some way, shape, or form pissed us off.
Well, I mean, like it's just like they have nothing going on, and then like the one thing they do have going on is Metal Gear Solid 5. Not only did they fire Kojima, they also canceled all his other games that he was working on, removed his name from the Phantom Pain, and basically just destroyed everything that is about him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like one thing is firing somebody, but another thing is like going out of your way to like fucking wipe him out from your history.
Yeah, fucking retroactively getting rid of him is a dick move.
Yeah.
Next thing
not allowed to
you
talk
know,
about
there
any
might.
reviews.
Next thing, I'm gonna predict this in the future. If they do re-release any of the Metal Gear games, I guarantee you they will not have a Hideo Kojima game on them.
Yeah.
They will most likely never have it on it again.
Well, they said that Metal Gear Solid is going to continue as a mobile title. Yay!
Oh. Well,
That's fantastic.
Because the last mobile game was the bestest game ever.
It's the best selling thing since fucking pancakes. I'll tell you that. But yeah,
remind me to play Amazing Grace on the bagpipes whenever Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain comes out.
yeah, that game is still going to be amazing. Kojima's still going around and promoting like the game and doing interviews and stuff like that.
That's a good sport of him because, like, this is like a long story, but basically he's been trying to sabotage the series ever since like the second Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's like being such a troop about this, like actually still trying to sell the game for the company that's fucking him over, is like I'd say good sportsmanship on his behalf.
Well, he's put a lot of work into this one. I mean, he made the Fox engine. He's taken all this time to make sure all the details he wants are in the game. So, why not
That's
write it
something
out?
else. I hope they continue making good game development stuff because otherwise, if they only make like 2 games with the Fox, engine. That'd be a shame.
Yeah, that's something I also forgot to bitch about. They took the Fox engine from him.
On some level, I don't know. Is it too much? This is probably just me overanalyzing this a little bit, but do you think on some level Kojima is a little bit relieved that he's finally free to do whatever the hell he wants now?
Oh, I mean, yes. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to be able to keep Metal Gear Solid, but he built that engine. He made it so he can make his games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They took that from him. That's a big fucking dick move.
This whole Kojima Konami mess is just a freaking disaster.
It is.
Yeah, it saddens me.
Yeah. Any more thoughts? Good.
I don't have much. I mean, the only thing they could possibly do to piss people off more is if they're like, "Hey guys, remember Silent Hills? Well, now it's gonna be a mobile title, pay to win. See you guys next year."
Ugh.
Like, fucking that, everything else with the Kojima thing, like, and from what I've heard, at least from the news, most of the stuff they're gonna be focusing on is like what you guys said, mobile titles and like pachinko parlor stuff. And I'm just like, why? The gaming is so fucking huge right now. It's like it's bigger than it's ever been. And we mentioned this in last podcast. Fucking League of Legends can be seen on like fucking ESPN sometimes.
Yeah.
Or that still blows my mind.
Like you can watch League of Legends at like fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. That's like what? That's like something that you would hear like 4 or 5 years ago, and you would assume that someone being like, yeah, nice fan fiction, like, good 1984 parody for you. What else you got?
Oh god. Well, I can just imagine somebody just sitting there watching League of Legends, eating a chicken wing, going like, "Oh shit, he's using mana."
Oh god.
Like, and I'm just thinking of like just a regular like sports fan, like thinking, oh, I could watch some football or some soccer or some the fuck is that? Oh my god. Oh god, that catfish is eating that wizard. Get out of there, wizard! You're gonna die in there!
Oh god.
I can't wait for that day.
It's
Oh jeez.
it's happened already, man. It's in there.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that. I'm just talking like when it really starts to kick off. Like I'm expecting like within maybe like less than 5 years, we'll have like fighting game tournaments broadcasting in like B dubs and stuff like that.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm expecting it at this point. I was like, I can't wait to see the day that Street Fighter, League of Legends, like Heroes of the Storm, or anything of that type being played right next to the fucking Super Bowl, just to see what the hell happens.
Oh,
So
man.
many people are gonna get confused by this.
Yeah.
There's one other thing, and Perry, do you want to tell them any like our soon to be recent developments in regard to Kojima games?
Sorry, you lost me. What?
Okay, I was saying is I don't know if you've told these guys yet or if you're like announcing it yet or not. But
Oh, right. Sorry, I completely derped out. No. That's another project that I'm planning to do, like I mentioned earlier. The other series I'm planning to do after I finish God of War and Arkham Knight is I'm going to be doing the entire Metal Gear Solid saga in release order.
Sounds
So,
promising.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
going-
going to be kind of guiding him with that because I've actually played and beaten all the Metal Gear games with the exception of let's see, like some of the like non-canon ones. Like I didn't play Metal Gear Acid, I didn't play Ghost Babel, but for the most part, all the rest of them I have beaten to completion.
Then
So-
we're in the same club, my friend.
Yep.
so
And that's why I think it's going to be awesome because like Perry already highly respects Kojima and he's only played like one of his games, so seeing him play the rest of his library is going to be quite an eye opener.
Yeah, and the fact, like you said, I literally have only played one of his games, just Metal Gear Solid 4, technically. So I know he originally came with help come up with the concept of Rising, but that's more of a platinum with Revengeance, but that's more of a platinum thing. I give credit to them for that.
Yeah.
But with 4, I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Nah.
I need to play more of this.
You want me to tell you something cool?
What?
If Ford made you turn your head, 3's gonna knock you the fuck out.
Yeah.
3 is amazing.
Oh, I'm sure 3 will be very impressive. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
it will
no,
be.
it's the games are 3 and 2 for me are like what I would say are his masterpieces. More so 3, but that's just because like I really like 2, and I know that some people in the community of like Metal Gear like divided as to whether or not 2 is like a good game or not. I still think it's one of the best, but I admire what 3.
Well, didn't you tell me a couple of times that it's like what the sixth highest rated PS2 game?
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 is the 6th highest rated PS2 game of all time.
Yeah. But just expect the first time to go through and just like finish it and you go, I have no idea what that game was about.
Yeah, that's the consensus.
Yeah. I originally
Solid 3 is amazing because it's I'd say a lot more concise. You don't need to play the previous games to get it since it's the earliest point in the timeline. Its story is like relatively straightforward, and it's just like emotional punches to the gut instead of like, you know, more intellectually driven stuff. And that's not saying that it's stupid, but when you compare the like fucking social philosophy of 2 and then compare it to like fucking, oh, I'm a bee man on fire.
Oh god, the bosses in 3 are amazing. But
sorry, you almost made me squirt water out my nose with that.
Man on fire.
Alright guys, we're going on a Kojima freaking
Sorry.
love train over here, so let's move on.
Kojima podcast. Number 3.
Episode 3, Kojima edition.
Yes, but let's move
Anyways,
on.
let's move on.
Yeah, a new Blaze Blue was announced. Yay!
Ooh.
I love Blaze Blue. So
I do too.
this
I
very
like Blaze Blue as well. I like the concept of it,
Yeah.
but I have not played I haven't played one in a long while.
oh god, what was it? What's the new one called?
It's called Central Fiction.
Yeah, Central Fiction is what it's called. It's the 4th game, possibly the last, right?
Hopefully. I don't
Yeah.
think we can stretch the story longer than, 5.
Yeah, Blaze Blue is one of the rare occasions where it's a good fighting game that has a good story.
Mm-hmm.
It also seems to have a pretty memorable roster of characters.
It does, like,
Yeah.
so people would argue not as memorable as Guilty Gear, but like I like the characters a lot.
Like, I'll say this, I'm okay. Like, I didn't play all through the story, but I really liked what I saw in Chrono Phantasma,
Mhm.
and at the very least, Central Fiction sounds at least, I'd say, easier to say or pronounce or spell than fucking Chrono Phantasma. So,
But this is the first time they gone with one word. Like it's been Calamity Trigger, Continuum Shift, and then Chrono Phantasma.
And then Continuum Shift Extend.
Yeah. Speaking
yeah.
speaking of extend, we just got Chrono Phantasma extend. Like literally weeks ago?
Yeah.
Really?
A week? 2?
Yeah, so the
is that on like current gen consoles?
yeah, it's on PS4.
PS4. It's on PS3 as well.
Okay, because I remember like the original Chrono Phantasma was only on PS3, if I'm correct. So.
Yeah. So like the announcement the announcement kind of like made people go like, "Huh, already?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also gotta
Especially
remember that CP Extend's been out for a while in Japan.
yeah, and Ricky was pissed the fuck off. As he always tends to be when companies release things like in short tandems. Which
I mean, like, as long as they do something like good enough to differentiate it between some of the previous games, more power to them. More games for us.
well,
So.
I mean, like, I've never felt that a Blaze Blue game like one felt different from 2, and 2 felt different from 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what I like about it. But like, I just like the game. Like, if you give me more Blaze Blue, I'll be happy. It's fine by me. Looks like they made a couple of NPCs playable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Kagura's assistant is playable.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I'll say this based on what I've seen in the game. I think it would be probably more surprising to have them have an NPC that isn't playable than to find out that a character who was an NPC turned out to be playable. Because as far as I know, most of the NPCs that we've seen in the story mode have eventually came out as either DLC or playable characters in the next games.
oh, the more important
Wait,
ones anyway.
Hold on. If they're NPCs becoming playable characters, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of being called an NPC?
Like I said, it's the more important NPCs. It's not just
Yeah.
like that guy in the background there. Guess what? You're playable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, story
They're NPCs at the time, and then they I guess
So basically they've been promoted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So, okay, big one. You know who 9 is, right, Lenny?
Oh yeah.
She's playable.
Dude.
Yep. she's gonna be playable in the 4th game, and
That's
like
awesome.
that's big for everybody because 9 is there's such a mystique to 9 like by this point because she's been mentioned a lot, and like in Chrono Phantasma we actually get to see her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
I've heard about her in the story mode. I haven't gotten that far in the story mode, but I'm eager to see what it's all the hubbub's about.
yeah,
That's my favorite movie too.
yeah, play Chrono Phantasma like all the way through if you haven't. Like it's
Oh
really
yeah, I'll see
it's,
if I can pick up Extend in the near future.
oh, yeah.
Then Perry, you and I can play it, and I can destroy you as Azrael.
It's an anime fighter, Perry. That's like two halves of one thing you should that should make one thing you should like.
Yeah, it's the way I described it when I first played it would be like taking most of the standard anime archetypes and making them into fighting game characters.
Yeah.
Like if anything, you'll like the gag reels. Like those are hilarious.
Oh yeah, see that's something else I
Make
want
it
to
sound like I've never played Blaze Blue in my life.
Like, like oh
I said
my.
I never. I said I haven't played it for a while. I've never said I've never played it.
We'll play it more.
I've already got a crap ton of stuff I need to go through. Okay.
Yeah, man. I mean, if he has to beat all the fucking Metal Gear games and all the rest of the God of War games,
listen,
it's gonna
Perry.
take a while.
And Arkham Knight.
Listen, Perry. I want you to grab all those copies of all those games you have to do and throw them to the side, dramatically if possible.
What do you want me to do? Put them on the table and just flip it?
Yes, or just like wave your hands across them and just like knock everything down.
I guess I could do that, but at the same time, it's just like, well, I've already made a commitment to this. So
I
it's
mean, like it's a fighting game. You don't have to sit down and go like, well, it's time for a freaking 4-hour sit down with Blaze Blue.
I know, it's just.
Yeah,
I'm so
reserve that
needy.
a single cutscene in Metal Gear.
Yeah, he said, or a single cutscene in Metal Gear.
Oh yeah.
Are you talking Metal Gear 4?
Oh yeah.
Most of the Metal Gear Solid games, aside from like the PS1 game and the MSX2 ones.
Yeah.
But I will play Blaze Blue. I want to pick it up again. I'm just like, okay, I kind of need to finish this first. Then I have to do, and then I have this, and this to do, and then I will get back to it.
All right.
I'm sorry, my backlog is so my backlog is so big that I'm almost like, well, this is probably gonna take me the rest of the year to get through all this crap.
Yeah. Oh, Jalen, there was also one more character revealed. Is he a completely new character? It's like a dark-haired guy.
I haven't looked at the new characters yet, so I don't know.
It was in the trailer. You didn't look at the
I
trailer?
haven't seen the trailer. I just know.
Ah, all right. Yeah, but yeah, there was a dark-haired guy. I don't remember his name. He looks like super like emo boy anime. Kinda, yeah.
That's slightly more specific. I already played as Jin.
Like for a second, I thought it was the male version of Bullet.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, now that I've taken that to that weird place, let's move on.
Please.
So at San Diego Comic-Con, I don't remember if it was the anime convention before San Diego Comic-Con or at San Diego Comic-Con proper, but Resident Evil Zero demo was showed off. It was like a beta, like the Resident Evil Zero HD remake. And,
Okay.
yeah, it looks pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, from what they've shown, the game actually made the transition over to HD very, very like good.
I would hope.
Extra costumes, all that nice stuff that they added in the original HD remake of the Resident Evil GameCube version. But I'm pretty hyped. Resident Evil is pretty underrated Resident Evil Zero is pretty underrated in my eyes, and it's actually a pretty good game.
Doesn't it run on the same engine as the RE remake?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It just had the misfortune of coming out really close to 4.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the game that it's kind of like the one game in the series that is pretty good, but nobody played it.
Oh yeah, remake was also that case because of the GameCube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so remake got a lot more exposure with the HD remake, and I hope it happens for Zero as well because it's a pretty decent story. It's about what Rebecca was doing before she actually went to the mansion.
Yeah.
So, Lenny, any thoughts? You've been quiet.
I played a little bit of Resident Evil 4 and 6, and also that Railgun one on the Wii. They were fun.
All right, I'll agree with 4 and the one on the Wii, but 6, come on, man.
Like,
It's okay.
I'll say this, and maybe this is because I'm like very ignorant to the series as a whole, but I don't quite understand all the hate towards 6. But then again, I haven't played all of 6, so maybe that's why. Maybe like the parts I played, like, you know, were like just the really good bits, and then everything just turned fuck mountain afterwards.
All right, let's put it this way. Like I turned to Capcom and went like, all right, you got Leon and Chris in this one story. Like let's make it a good story with awesome character development. And Capcom was like, you mean explosions, right?
On one hand, I see your point, and I'm a fucking sucker for character development. But on the other hand, I assume they'd already been developed at this point, so developing characters who are already developed when you can blow shit up.
6 games in now.
Yeah, I'll say this. If you don't already know what the fuck Leon's going to do in this situation, then maybe he wasn't very well developed in the first place.
Step
But
1,
again,
put President's daughter in trash can.
yeah. Either way, I still would always prefer character development as opposed to not. But
Well, I mean, like, and the way they approach the story is kind of weird. Like three stories instead of one.
And then one to unlock.
Yeah, and then that one to unlock.
yeah, like I'll say this. I think people probably would have if this is, I'd say, a similar thing that happened with like Ninja Theory's Devil May Cry. People probably would have enjoyed like that one and Resident Evil 6 a lot more if they were just called something completely different to their series. Like if it was just called, you know, like Dante's Dubstep Adventure and Leon and Chris's, you know, Afternoon Delight.
Wee woo woo wop the game.
Yeah. Then I think that people probably would have enjoyed it more because it's like, wow, this game's really good. I mean, it's similar to Resident Evil, but, you know, whatever. It's awesome. It's fun. You know, like, and this is a stretch, but I feel like if they played Resident Evil 6 but it was called something completely different, they would play that and be like, Capcom, why can't you be more like whoever the fuck these guys are? They know how to make a better Resident Evil game.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, like, I'd accept Devil May Cry. You know, if it wasn't for the characters, I would accept DMC. Like, the characters just come off as, you know, assholes. I mean, like, old Dante was an asshole, but he wasn't like a mean asshole. He was just like a smart guy asshole. You know, like a smart ass, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like he go like, oh yeah, he go like, yeah, like you're gonna beat me,
Remember,
Dante.
okay to be an asshole as long as you make a one-liner.
Yeah, I mean, like he goes like, well, Dante, I see you shot up my club and everything. He was like, well, sorry, you know, it's a freaking party, you know. And new Dante would be like, well, Dante, I see you shot up my club. You're like, yeah, well, fuck you.
That's it. Perfect.
That's my only problem. Well, anyway, we're derailing again. Oh my god.
All right, I'll finish my thoughts. I hope that it's as good as people have been saying stuff about, like, the Resident Evil HD remake thing, because people like that stuff. That's about it. I'm not really huge into it. I didn't go out of my way to get the HD remake. I don't have any of them aside from 4, so I'm not really big on it, but I hope that they deliver, because, you know, companies really need to tread on, you know, fucking glass right now in regards to keeping their fans happy, so...
Hey, at least they're not Konami right now.
Yeah.
You know, that's really saying something when Capcom, who beforehand was like known for making like kind of weird or bad business practices, can be seen as doing like better than other companies right now.
Oh, that's because they started doing some serious fan pleasing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jalen, your thoughts on Resident Evil 0?
I've never been able to play Zero proper, and like I've played it at a friend's house, and I've played it like over here or there, and it's always a little bit further into the story. So I'm happy to play it, you know, straight through. And you know, all these random giant ass animals I gotta kill.
I wanted to, damn it. No, I'm glad Zero's being made. Perry, any thoughts?
Not really. I mean, I have a couple of the Resident Evil games. I have Code Veronica. I have 4. One of the iterations of 4, I think, somewhere. I don't remember where.
Dude,
But I don't have that many opinions on Resident Evil as a whole. Like, you guys know I'm not a horror person or a survival horror, to put it lightly. I mean, and I'm just thinking anything predating 5 specifically. So I don't really have that many opinions to say for it. So just to save time, I'm just going to say I'm happy for the people who are fans of Resident Evil 0. I hope it goes over well. So that's about it.
Man. Dude, I swear I own like every version of Resident Evil 4 that has ever come out.
You do.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, like every version I've owned it at one point or another. Even like the mobile game that they had out for a bit on the on the
God,
iPod.
I played that.
It was terrible.
Like, terrible is one word, but
Okay,
There's terrible, and then there's RE4 mobile.
I'll,
at least it pretended to be kind of functional half the time.
well,
Pretended.
Keyword being pretended.
I mean, you know, Resident Evil 4 had like these cool graphics and like these awesome enemies with new AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically the iPhone version is like if they put like a stand-up cutout of that and they had shadow puppets instead of enemies, and you had to pretend it was Resident Evil 4.
It's like if they remade it as like a haunted house while running on a PS1 engine instead of the PS2 engine.
Yeah,
Wait, wasn't that the rail shooter ones?
they didn't have faces. The enemies did not have faces.
What?
Like, actually, no, Perry. Surprisingly, the rail shooter ones actually had equal, if not better, graphics than their original counterparts.
Yeah.
I know, I was just making a joke.
Oh,
Now you're super far away.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was
Don't-
getting my
Harry.
DS from across the room.
Alright. Alright, that's pretty much it for gaming. Any personal recommendations you guys got? Like a game you want people to try out? Could be your favorite game, could be a game you've liked recently, or just any game in general. Perry, you have the floor first.
Well, the only real things I've been going through lately, like I said, are the God of War series, and it is interesting to see how they've aged over time. And I will admit, it's kind of given me a little bit of retrospect in terms of which one I think is the best of the series I've done so far. And just speaking out of the ones I've completed so far, I'd say probably Ghost of Sparta is my favorite of the ones I've completed again right now, just because it seems to give Kratos a little bit more of a personal stake in the story, and it gives a little bit more relevance to him as a character. So that's probably the one I recommend if I was going to say so far, but I'm still going through God of War 2, which I do remember very fondly. I think that was actually the first one I played in the series.
Yeah,
Back when it originally came out.
God of War 2 is still my favorite to this days.
Yeah, mine too.
I remember it took me forever. I distinctly remember picking up God of War 2 when it originally came out. My mother and I were going into Target, and I tried to the only way I was able to convince her was because of the fact that she knew I was a big mythology person, and I had to convince her. It was like, oh, basically it's a lot of Greek mythology, put it all into one. And so that was the way I was able to convince her to let me pick up God of War 2, even though it was rated M at the time.
Alright, you want to hear a funny story?
What?
I didn't buy God of War 2 when I got it. Like, I swear, I was in school, and like my friend went like, "Hey, my mom bought me this game, and she said it's too violent for me. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Oh, sure." I was expecting like some old like rated M game. And he just plops God of War 2 on my desk, and I'm like, "You know what the fuck this is?" This is the new God of War game. He goes like, "Yeah, it's too violent for me. Do you want it?" I was like, yes, I want it."
So you just happened. Wait, was this before it was released, or just when it came out?
No, it's when it came out. Like, I swear, days after it came out.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll take it."
You know, that is a very similar story happened with me in the first Ratchet and Clank game.
Oh.
Yeah, no, but that was because like apparently he was playing through it, and apparently like there's I'd say like a raunchier kind of joke or something, and then like his mom's like, "No, you can't play this game. You know, like just give it to one of your friends I don't like."
Oh wow.
Lo and behold, I got into Ratchet and Clank.
just give it to Lenny. I never liked that kid.
Like, and I mean, I don't think that was literally what it was, but I would assume she wouldn't have given a game that she thought was bad for her child to a kid that she also genuinely cared for. So she's like, just give it to that Lenny kid. He didn't eat my fucking spinach casserole that one time. He's a prick.
You're like that one kid in the hot dog or cereal commercial. It's like, yo, give it to this kid. He doesn't like anything. I was like, oh wait, he likes it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Well, yeah. Jalen, any recommendations?
If you haven't already, pick up Skullgirl Second Encore.
Damn, that was
What's new between that and the first Encore?
All right, Second Encore has voice story mode, all the DLC characters, additions to training mode, the tutorials, trials. I think
So-
a better matchmaking service.
A little
Yeah.
bit of everything.
lobbies,
everything.
gallery.
Yeah, a gallery.
Have they done
Three
any balancing?
different announcers to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, Lenny?
Well, I asked if they did any balancing, nerfs, buffs, stuff
No,
like that.
yes, they did.
Yeah. Like this is the finalized version of Skullgirls, and everything is concurrent with the current build of the PC version right now.
Oh, God.
So
Let me-
everything that was on there is now on the PS4.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got hit up that pinwheel then.
Yeah. So let me tell you something hilarious. The announcer types you get are it's male, female, Russian, and dazed. And dazed is the announcer fucking drunk, and it's hilarious.
Oh my god, that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I must play this now.
Oh, you'd like it, Barry. It's like a weird cross between like Mickey Mouse rubber hose and anime.
Dude, I've
Pretty
played
nice.
Skullgirls before. I remember going. That was when I went to PAX. I remember when it was still a trial version.
It's my favorite thing ever, like that has recently come out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I thought you didn't know, but either way,
Sorry, I should have clarified that
I
earlier.
have some spare money lying around. I'll happily pick up second encore.
Let me tell you this. Gameplay wise, it's Darkstalkers cross Marvel vs. Capcom, and like the moment I saw it, I threw my money so hard I think I broke something. Like I think I bought it. I bought it on release day, like the second
Just
it was
like that
available.
Bloodborne statue.
Yes, like I think I might actually see a dead pixel on my TV. I'm actually kind of worried. But-
Your TV just frowning at you. It's like, why did you hit me?
Fix the dead pixel now, man. I recently had that happen, fucking 180 plus before I got around to fixing it.
Oh, that's great. I might just get another TV then. but yeah, I love Skullgirls, so good recommendation, Jalen. All right, Lenny, any recommendations?
I have two recommendations. One of which is just based on like a game trade thing that I did recently. Me and someone else, we basically were just talking. There's a guy named Wesley, and we're just talking about like games and whatnot. And I just went. I said, "Oh well, I tell you what, you can have one of my favorite games ever." And so I gave him Dragon's Dogma: Dark Arisen, and I did this based on our conversations about Monster Hunter. And so basically, it's like a weird like smorgasbord of like many different elements of many different games put together into something that I think is just incredible, because it's got elements of like open world RPG stuff, so similar to like Oblivion, Skyrim. It's got elements of like hack and slash stuff, like Devil May Cry. It's got elements of Dark Souls and Shadow of the Colossus, and so many fucking different things that make it come together to make a incredibly amazing, unique kind of experience. And it's just, if you'd like, I'd say a more cathartic battle system in an open world game as opposed to this one that I'd say the little bit more, I don't know, static combat that I saw in games, like Skyrim and Oblivion. Like, with stuff that just feels like it's a bit more impactful because you can actually like climb on the enemies and shit. Because that's one of the mechanics that, hence why I mentioned Shadow of the Colossus, that larger enemies you can actually cling to and climb around on to hit their weak points. So like, you're up against like a Cyclops, you climb up onto its face, you stab it in the eye. If you're up with a Griffin, you can climb onto its wings, use fire attacks to like literally burn its wings off so it comes crashing into the ground. And you can even hold on to them while they're in the air. So there'll be like moments where the Griffin will be like flying above like a giant castle or over the ocean. It's trying to fling you off, and you're just hacking away at it. And it's fucking awesome. And that, among other things, like really interesting like lore and story bits, and some really, really good post-game challenge stuff, because the Dark Arisen stuff adds like a whole new level, whole new leveling system, whole new abilities, a little bit of everything, including new bosses and new dungeons, and the dungeon gets randomized every time you beat it, so there's technically always something you can go back to. Makes it just an incredibly good value. And at launch, new, it was $40. And so getting it used now, I think when I got it last, or looked at last, it was like $16 used for like the PS3 version. That includes the Japanese voiceovers and the HD texture pack. So it's so dirt cheap to get. I haven't even completely beaten it yet, even though it's one of my favorite games. I play it a lot. I'm 250 plus hours in, so it's definitely a very good value.
Yeah, I've tried it a bit, but it was never like my cup of tea. Like, one notable thing, it has a really rocking intro. The menu music.
The music is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I downloaded the OST later, and it's just really good. I mean, I'll say this: using fucking rockin' J-pop to the intro of like your like medieval fantasy RPG game is quite an interesting stylistic choice.
Yeah.
But,
There goes Capcom again, being all crazy, but
yeah.
but yeah.
Other than that, there's one other one that I would recommend. It's not a recent game, but it's one that I definitely really loved, and I think it's just one that I think people would be able to enjoy, and that's El Shaddai: Ascension of the Metatron.
Oh yeah, love
And
that game.
That game, it's got a lot of really cool, interesting things about that I could rave about forever. But to make it short and sweet, basically, it's got really good like design philosophy in regards to its combat, and it's probably one of the most artistically beautiful games I've ever seen. Like it's got like stylistic cell shaded ish graphics, so it's not like it's a powerhouse like Crysis or The Witcher or Arkham, but to the just like the aesthetic stuff, the art design stuff alone makes it worth the price of getting it. It's fucking amazing, and I think it's actually from one of the original directors of Devil May Cry, so at least if I'm remembering correctly. So it's definitely got all that going for it. I mean, it's batshit crazy. The fucking devil is like your like companion / save point system, and he talks to God on a cell phone.
Yeah.
It's batshit crazy, and I highly recommend it to anyone who's looking for a very well-made or unique experience, so to speak. So those two are my recommendations.
Nice.
Not very recent games, but
Yeah, good choices though.
I already talked about the recent ones, which are just Rocket League and Arkham. So
Yeah, yeah, those are good choices. I've never personally completely played through Dragon's Dogma. That's mostly because I got like a very bad summary of it. Like I asked a friend like, "Oh, well, what's it like?" He goes, "It's like Dark Souls." And I was like, "Well, I have Dark Souls and I love it very much. I could just play Dark Souls." Yeah. So yeah, but still good choices. My personal recommendation is one. It's actually two of my favorite games of all time, packaged into one. I recommend the Shadow Eco Collection.
oh god, yeah.
Yes, like those two games, I literally consider works of art. Like they're perfect to me in every way, even though they have their problems. They speak miles for me. Like it's one of the first games I ever considered to be art.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't played them, please do. Like I think the game is lower than $20 right now. Last time I checked, it was $20, but that was like months ago. So it could possibly be lower. Just those are games you have to play, especially if you're excited for The Last Guardian. Like, even if you have played them, just buy them, brush up on them. They're timeless.
I do hope they have some sort of like digital or re-release on the like current PS4, other stuff like that, so that people who can catch up on it. Because I know a lot of people who have a PS4 now, like at least I think they said last time I saw the statistics, which was like years ago, but about 30 to 35% of people who own a PS4 never owned a PlayStation console before.
Damn.
So that's like a huge amount of people who never had a chance to play Eco or Shadow of the Colossus. That's kind of like one of the reasons why they felt justified to do the whole Last of Us remastered thing, because a lot of Xbox people wanted to play that game and they couldn't, and now they can because they switched sides, and they should do the same thing with that. Even if it doesn't need it was already remastered in the first place, and it was already at 1080p 60 frames per second. So all they really need to do is just do a direct port of it. So
Yeah.
it's easy. Maybe add one or two features. Just some small thing, but it would be very easy to do. Maybe even do like the whole crossplay thing, because I already own it digitally on PS3. Because I know they're doing that. And this is, since we're on gaming news and we're about to wrap it up, Journey will be released on PS4 on July 21st.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's the same thing. You own Journey on PS3, congratulations, you have the PS4 version. So let's do the same thing with Eco and Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was a good gaming section, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on to movies. Before we actually move on to any of the topics, have you guys gotten to see any movies that are worth noting?
Went to see Jurassic World twice, or for the second time, but I was able to enjoy it a little bit more this time around, but I'm still not like super huge on the whole Jurassic Park thing. That's
But
just
Chris
me,
Pratt,
though.
man.
What?
But Chris Pratt, he's so hot.
Trust me, I know.
No, bro.
I had to listen to Steph was saying
Bro!
the Raptors and Chris Pratt pretty much
Bro,
the whole
bro.
night afterwards.
Bro,
Chris Pratt will always be Chris Pratt, regardless of what the CGI artists render around him.
bro,
So
he's
that's,
hot.
like,
He,
exclusive to him.
don't you
I
know?
would prefer to watch him in Guardians of the Galaxy, but that's just me.
He's hot there too. That's like the whole selling point of Jurassic World. Look at this hot guy riding motorcycles around dinosaurs. Isn't that cool?
Hell, even one of the kids in the movie says, "Your boyfriend's a badass."
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. But yeah, that's really like every time I ask about Jurassic World to any of my female friends, they go like, "Well, it's got that hot guy from Guardians of the Galaxy." I'm just like, okay, that told me nothing about the movie. But would you recommend it?
If you want to see like dinosaurs eat people, it's got plenty of that. I will admit it's got probably one of the coolest ending fights I've seen in a little while. And it's just real. I would say if you just want to see dinosaurs eat people and kind of don't give it. I personally couldn't give a shit about any of the characters outside of Pratt. So yeah, I guess if you want to go and just kind of chill out and not really think about a movie during a whole lot, but it's fine. I've seen way worse movies retrospectively, so this one is like I don't hate it. It's just not one where I feel absolutely thrilled to see it again. But it's if it was on in background noise, I wouldn't hate it. I would prefer to see Mad Max Fury Road over any day of the week, but that's just me.
Yeah. All right, Jalen. Any movies you've watched recently? Doesn't have to be in theaters. Just any movie you've watched.
Not recently.
Oh, if we were doing that, then we've got the whole '80s challenge, but I've already mentioned those.
Yeah. So nothing.
I haven't seen anything. I've been pretty movieless.
Oh boy. Lenny, any movie you've seen recently?
In theaters, I recently saw the new Terminator movie.
Oh boy, me too. What were your thoughts on it?
I'll say this: I'm very confused, and what I mean by that is I have no idea. Like, I'll say this in my own personal opinion, I like the movie a lot.
I did too.
But but a lot of the reviews for it are terrible, and a lot of people are saying it's terrible. And it's like I usually don't want to let critic stuff sway me, but the movie isn't like quite good enough for me to 100% solidify. Oh yeah, the reviewers are being assholes, because like that's what I think sometimes. If I see a movie and I really like it, sometimes like, oh, it's just the reviewers being pricks because they don't like the movie I like. How dare they? But
Which tends to happen a lot.
Well,
which happens a lot, but it's at the certain level of quality to where I definitely like it, but I don't know if I like it because it's good or if it's because it's like a guilty pleasure. Like, I have no idea if I'm liking it for all the wrong reasons or if I'm just ignoring all the stuff that the other critics are saying is bad.
right.
You know, it sounds like how I felt when I watched Dune.
Because when I saw it, it was like some of them were saying like, oh, this movie's like, it's lifeless, it's like off message and stuff like that. It's like, I'm hearing a lot of complaints, but I'm not hearing anything objectively wrong with what the movie did, aside from it didn't feel right to the other reviewers.
Yeah, I'll put it. The most compelling argument I've read was they put the time travel element on center stage, and like people felt it worked better in the other movies as like a framing device instead of like, look at this time travel shit, woo, like.
Yeah, I can definitely see the point of that, but on the other hand, like, the one that everyone up until this point said was the worst one in the franchise was Salvation.
Oh no, it still is.
And that one, and I agree with that. I don't think it's bad, but the point is, Salvation is the only one that doesn't explicitly have time travel as its framing device. Because, like, they're in the future.
Yeah.
And they continue to be in the future.
Wait, Salvation is regarded as the worst?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it
I
is.
thought that was 3.
No, it's Salvation. 3 is second worst.
Still regarded as like definitely a low point in the series, but at least 3 had Arnold and time travel stuff. So there's that. Whereas in Salvation, you see CG Arnold, and instead you have Christian Bale yelling at fucking prop hands.
This
Yeah.
is Sean Connery.
Yeah. Let's put it this way: Genesis is basically the mother of all retcons.
Like, yeah, it's
As opposed to Star Trek.
Like this is like
this is comparable to Star Trek in that they use certain elements of time travel in order to justify
Yeah.
it being rebooted.
yeah.
And
So-
at least, and I didn't have a problem with the Star Trek movie, but I feel like since this is a series that's actually based around time travel, it doesn't feel nearly as forced
Yeah.
as that one, you know. And I don't know, I thought everything was generally pretty good. Visuals were pretty good. You know,
Yeah.
action was really nice when it was, you know, going on. All the characters had pretty good stuff, and it's like some people are criticizing like, oh, it's like more comedy focused, and I'm like, yes, because Terminator 2 never made us laugh ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
Chill out.
and like,
boy.
and like the comedy segments were nods to older Terminator things.
Yeah.
So like when let me just give a thing like where like they're talking about old Arnold and Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese are going like, so he's never killed anybody, and Sarah goes like, no, but there are a lot of leg wounds. That's a reference to Terminator 2.
Yeah.
See, that actually sounds funny.
Yeah.
It is. It's good. A lot of little stuff like that, and like, okay, I won't go into why, but a lot of people were saying that like the romance feels forced, and I don't think that it is in the way that they think it is. They think it is in like in terms of like a negative, in terms of like a whole like narrative element that just pushed onto the movie because typical Hollywood romance.
No, I mean they
But
even
I
the
feel like
movie.
there's like plot justification in terms of it having the feeling of being forced.
Yeah, because they're
And that it
supposed
actually
to.
and it works well with their chemistry. I mean, like,
Yeah.
because everyone is saying like, "Oh, Amelia Clarke doesn't look like Sarah Connor." It's like, because it's not the same Sarah Connor. It's a different one.
This is not fucking Linda Hamilton.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean like. I mean,
It's
like,
that.
go ahead.
It's not Linda Hamilton. It's not the same timeline as Linda Hamilton, and they're not
Yeah.
trying to be Linda Hamilton because fucking Linda Hamilton had to fucking work from scratch. And I mean, at least from I'm pretty sure it's not a spoiler says, but from the trailer, she like fucking Amelia Clark's Sarah Connor. She knew this shit was coming, so it's like she's got a completely different demeanor to her. She is, for all intents and purposes, a different person, but just with the same genetics and name.
She's pretty much like, it seems like Amelia Clarke from what I've seen in the trailers. It's Emily Clarke, right?
Yeah.
It's Amelia Clarke.
Okay, sorry, I thought it was
known for
Amelia
playing-
Clarke for some stupid
She's
reason.
known for playing Daenerys Targaryen on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the mother of dragons.
Naked Dragon Lady. Yes.
Yeah.
But it sounds like for what she's looking, at least aesthetics wise, or how she's acting, it seems like she's already at that point in Terminator Genesis, like when you originally see her, but it's more like she's at that point what Sarah Connor was near the end of T2.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's basically where she's already gone through all of the life-changing dramatic shit before like she even fucking shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before
I will
Kyle
admit,
Reese
it's kind of funny
shows
that
up.
you say that the whole romance is forced kind of thing, considering that the original Terminator movie is like, well, the romance in some sense between Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor is supposed to be forced because otherwise, if they don't fuck like rabbits, then we're not going to get John Connor.
Well, I mean, like even the movie pokes fun at it too, which is funny.
And, like, this isn't too much of a spoiler since the whole idea of like them having to create John Connor's there, but the Terminator, old Arnold is there and he kind of knows about it, and he's like he just he leaves the room, and then Kyle and Sarah talk, and Arnold come back and he's like, "Have you mated?"
Yeah, like when they first meet Kyle Reese, they have to knock him out, and like Arnold goes like, "He is still breathing. This is a perfect time for you to mate with him."
So, don't spoil all this stuff for me because I still want to see Terminator Genesis.
It's not. That's why
not.
I said it's like a very, very minor thing, and it's
Yeah. So
it's
like,
more about presentation. But either way,
yeah, the
I
movie
thought-
knows what it is, and I like it.
yeah, I really like the movie. At the very least, if I'm just like being completely clouded by like the over-the-top references to like the previous movies, that may or may not be the case. But either way, at the very least, it's a guilty pleasure, and the keyword is pleasure. Even if it's not necessarily a great movie, it's still a very fun and entertaining movie, and that's something I can get behind no matter what. Because that's why I like Highlander. That's why I like The Room and Birdemic. And to be clear, this is nowhere near as bad as those movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, if I had to place them like in any specific order, it'd be like by favorite T2, T1, Genesis, 3, Salvation.
Yeah, so at the very least, it's probably the most refreshing amongst all of them.
Oh yeah.
Because at least I have something more to talk about as compared to Salvation, where instead of me thinking about it and sitting and enjoying it, I'm just more asking questions during Salvation. I was like, so why aren't we time traveling again?
Yeah. Why did they add a deleted scene in the uncut version where the girl takes off her top for no reason? Who knows?
Because the plot, it wouldn't be. Because obviously that's why everyone hated the movie, because they forgot that scene,
Yeah.
That's what makes the character, truly alive and amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
Aside from probably half the problems with that movie was the fact that it was directed by a guy who sounds like a Happy Meal combo.
All right, moving on to the San Diego Comic-Con movie news. First one, John C. Reilly confirms Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Yes!
Yay.
Ooh.
Yay! I really enjoyed the first Wreck-It Ralph. I thought it was a very nice little comedy set in the video game world. Perry, what do you think?
Well, I already explained my excitement for that one, so I'm very curious to see like how they're gonna progress through Wreck-It Ralph, considering that it seemed like the first one kind of wrapped itself up pretty nicely. So, on one level, I guess now that I think about it, it's like, well, what could you do with a sequel, as opposed to like, well, then again, I guess you could say like the people said the same thing with Toy Story 1. It's like, how do you do a sequel to that? But I don't know. I guess on some, I'm happy the fact that we're getting a sequel. It'll probably get the taste of pixels out of my mouth. But at the same,
At least wait to see it before we all say it's terrible.
It's Adam Sandler, man. There's like an 80% chance of it being terrible.
Well, I'm not saying it's going.
if Jack and Jill has taught us anything, Adam Sandler is now a kiss of death.
I'm not saying it's not going to be terrible, because I'm pretty sure it is too. But we have to at least watch it first so that we are justified in saying it's terrible.
Only reason that I would sit through that movie is because Tomonoda, what's his name? The guy who created Pac-Man is in the movie, and there's a small nod to him in the trailer where he goes up to talk to Pac-Man. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cute. And then Pac-Man bites his hand and just gets freaked out as hell. That's the only reason I would sit through that movie. Just to see that.
I still want to see it because there were a few things in the trailer that made me laugh, and I hope that it's a good movie. I don't want it to be bad, but I'm afraid that the trailer just decided to take all of its like good jokes into one, and that I'm just going to be sitting in the movie like not laughing and be like, come on, where are the fucking jokes from the trailer? And then just wait for those to show up.
Yeah.
Well, that and hopefully, and I like Peter Dinklage. He's good.
Why is he in this movie?
Why not? You know? Who
That's
wouldn't
another
want
question I would like to ask.
What?
All right. Anyway, Jalen, thoughts on Wreck-It Ralph 2?
I'm excited. I hope they do more cool cameos like they did in the first movie.
Well, something that I just actually thought of in terms of how they could for the plot and expand upon. And I'm sorry for interrupting you, man, but
Yeah, it's fine.
since it appears that the games connect through each other through like power cables, you could have like all the Wreck-It Ralph people or whatever have like some like uber nerd like buy the cabinet and put it in his house, and then have like the power cords connect that cabinet to like a home console, so then he can start interacting with like console game characters instead of just arcade game characters.
That
As a
could
possibility.
potentially be interesting.
Like an old versus new thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Lenny, thoughts?
I think that's kind of my thoughts. Is like I see potential for a plot. As long as there are video game like plots out there, there's always going to be room for like anything possible for Wreck-It Ralph in it. So I really like the first one, and in fact, like here's what I mean. Typically, like I usually associate, like aside from a few recent stints, I usually associate Pixar to be like typically really good in quality, and this movie was so good that I just automatically assumed it was Pixar. But then I was corrected many times by people saying no, it's just like the Disney animation studio, you know. And it's just like, but this is like a 2D, it's a 3D, you know, Pixar, but no, and that's how. That's how interesting and creative and awesome the movie is that it's manages to still be a kids movie while not drawing away from some of the humor that adults and gamers can still enjoy.
Yeah.
And it manages to make good use out of its cameos. It's not just like, hey, look, it's him, Mario, on with the plot. You know, it's like Zangief, you know, like he actually is legitimately, I mean, he doesn't do much.
Okay.
He's not just some guy who shows up and says, hey, look at me, I'm Zangief. Street Fighter people, you know me, I'm Zangief. Time to move on. You know, it's...
His part in the movie was hilarious.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like the fact that they actually legitimately made good use of their licenses.
Uh-huh.
And I think Perry said this, so, you know, because I'm pretty sure he said this before I did. So I'm going to... And it may have been said by other people too. But it's like a modern-day equivalent of Roger Rabbit in terms of how well executed it is with other people's licenses.
Yeah.
It pretty much is. Now, this is something I kind of wanted to tangent off from that, just since we're talking the sequel. Is there any cameo in the movie that you want to see, or any character that you want to see in this movie just pop up for a cameo?
Oh god, that's tough actually.
I mean, I don't know what time frame we're dealing with here with this one, so kind of the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think every cameo I wanted to see was actually in the first movie.
Okay.
We got like a bunch of Street Fighter characters. We got Bowser. We got Eggman. You know.
Yeah.
We got Sonic on those
That
signs.
Smile.
Yeah. So
The whole segment with him like doing the whole instructional video thing, that kind of reminded me a lot of the whole Sonic Says segment in the Adventure series.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like as far like me in modern games, like I wouldn't say I have a character that I love, you know. But
You know, it'd be fun if they had a Castlevania character in there.
they did.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, they did?
No, I say it would be like if they did.
I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah. If they did Ratchet and Clank, that'd be cool.
Oh,
Yeah. Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, yeah.
that would make me very happy.
Yeah. All right. Any more thoughts on this before we move on?
No.
I'm excited. That's all.
Yeah, me too. All right. Moving on then. They had a Deadpool panel at San Diego Comic-Con. I think they showed a trailer for it.
Release the goddamn trailer.
Yeah. The movie footage is going to be shown in 3 weeks. That's all we got from it. Is that they're going to show us stuff about the movie in 3 weeks.
Sweet.
They have a main villain and everything, and we're going to learn in 3 weeks. But there's nothing much about that really. But
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, me too. From what I've heard, people say the movie looks pretty awesome.
Man, I hope it, because Deadpool is so cool.
Yeah, and god damn it, they need to make up for what they did to him in the fucking Wolverine Origins movie.
I've heard there's actually a little joke with from what I've been hearing of the panels and the footage or something like that. There's actually a small joke or punch towards Green Lantern.
Oh, really?
Yeah, another Ryan Reynolds movie. I think one was the joke. I don't know. Should I spoil what it was that he said or something like that, or just let it wait for the movie?
Go for it.
Up to you. Go for
It's
it.
not a huge spoiler. It's just a fun little punchline.
Go for it.
Yeah.
He says, I think it was with Deadpool in the movie or something like that. He says, "Okay, one thing with the suit: don't make it green or animated. just a small little jab like that."
Oh man, yeah, that's
So-
good. That's good stuff though. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be a good old time.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. On a side note, they actually announced also a Gambit movie.
Yeah, we actually got to see what was it, the logo for it
Yeah,
at Comic-Con. Yeah, looks good. I guess. I don't know how good of Gambit Channing Tatum will be, but you know, he's a funny guy.
Cajun accents. That's what we need. That is what we need.
Yes, we do.
apparently the ladies love him. So
Yeah. So still, that doesn't mean you're a good actor if the girls
I
love
know.
you.
I'm just saying, ladies love him, and so apparently we know a couple people that are going to see this movie just because he's in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's true.
But any more thoughts on this before we move on?
I'm good.
I'm excited to see it. I mean, it's like you guys said. I hope they do it right after they did it in all the wrong ways last time in X-Men Origins Wolverine. So at
That
least
was
based
not
on
Deadpool and Wolverine. That was Baraka.
based on the content I've seen so far, though, it seems like they're definitely on the right track.
Yeah.
So I have faith that the content that we'll see in a few weeks will be up to snuff. So
I'm still waiting to hear from that tweet about French unicorn sex in the trailer. I'm gonna hold Ryan Reynolds to that. I was like, I demand to see French unicorn sex in this movie.
All right, Jalen, any thoughts before we move on?
I'm super hype. I can't wait for some fourth walls to be broken. I want to see him talk to us in the audience. You know, I want to feel like I'm in the movie with him.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun.